The regional quarterfinal is complete. Randy Byers here at Houston5atbaseball.com, here with me, Sam Kahn, and we're going to talk a little bit about what happened last week. Let's start with the big series, Bellaire and Memorial. Number 1 versus number 2. Bellaire ended up winning that series 3-1, losing the first game on Friday night, coming back to win games 2 and 3 on Saturday. One thing we talked about was their ability to produce runs, and boy, they finally did it.
Yeah, the bats finally woke up, and Memorial didn't help themselves either. I mean, the run differential wasn't really that great, 23 runs to 15 runs. That's only 8 runs, but what really killed them was when you look at the errors. I mean, you had 12 errors in 3 games, and Memorial had 28 walks and or hit batsmen or runners allowed on errors in 3 games. 28 runners, 28 free passes. So I don't care who you play. If you make those kind of mistakes, it's going to be really tough to win. You might squeak out a game, which they did, but you're not going to win 3 games.
On the flip side, Bellaire did have some great defense. Of course, we saw Jared Higgins on Friday night with a couple of great catches, and he seemed to kind of spark that team also with the bats.
I said that on the air Friday's game when he hit that home run. I go, this might have woken up that Bellaire offense, and I think Memorial might be in a little bit of trouble, even though they pulled that game out. I started noticing guys putting the bat on the ball with regularity late in that first game.
Talk a little bit about their old formula. They've been doing this for a couple of years now. Last year they did it 3 times. They did it again. They lost game 1 on Friday. It seems to not affect their confidence. They come out on Saturday strong and win game 2, and then game 3, they just kind of roll. I mean, it seems like they're just really comfortable being behind.
It's their 11th elimination game in the last 2 seasons. 11. In other words, they faced it 11 times, and the finality of the last one was, of course, in Round Rock with South Lake Carroll. But I mean, this is familiar turf for the Bellaire Cardinals and Rocky Manuel. I mean, that's why he likes 3 games. Very rarely, I don't think you'll ever see him opt for a 1 game because he's always deep in talent. But yeah, I mean, 11 elimination games. That pretty much tells you. I mean, they did it all last year, 3 rounds where they went to the 3rd game to win it, and then of course the 1 game in Round Rock. So.
Of course, with number 1 and number 2, it was a great series, a lot of atmosphere. Of course, we had over 1,000 people all 3 games at 7 Lakes. A lot of antics, and it wasn't just, we kept trying to say, it's just going to be a baseball series, but it was a lot more than that.
It had the atmosphere of Round Rock, real close to it. I mean, maybe not quite the crowd. Had it been in a different venue, I guarantee you we would have drawn more than what they drew last year in Round Rock. But we didn't, so we didn't. But you had the coaches were quite boisterous on both sides of the aisle, and they stood up for their teams on every level of the game. But it wasn't to be for Memorial, as Bellaire was just too much for them this weekend.
That's your look at Bellaire and Memorial's recap. Bellaire moves on to play Brazowick this week. For Randy Byers, Houston5atbaseball.com, I'm Sam Kahn. Thanks for watching, Chronicle.com.